We have an exciting chapter awaiting our study today. Chapter 3 of Canto 4 talks between Lord Shiva and Sati. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्पर सर्व सिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद् भागवतम प्रभु कलिध्वांतोदितादिता श्री कृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षि अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधुतादाय नति नीचो चतकरहा न मुंच कदाचिन्मान प्रेमना हृत कंठयो स्फुरा। मदैक बंधु मत्संगी मद्गुरो मद्महाधना मद निस्तारक मद भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय हो। So today let's read. So, I'll recite the verse and then Tanay Prabhu will read the translation. 4.3.1 Maitreya Vacha Sada Vidvishato Kalo Vaidhriyamanayo Jamatushvashurasyapi Sumahanati Chakrame. Can read aloud? Take this.
Maitreya continued. In this manner, the tension between the father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha and Lord Shiva, continued for a considerably long period.
So in this way, in which way? As we had discussed in the previous three sessions, that what all had transpired for this very strange situation to happen, where a father who uh, becomes inimical towards his favorite pet daughter and her husband, and so much so that he curses Lord Shiva, neglects his daughter to such an extent that she immolates and commits suicide. So what all transpired? Basically, the chingari of ego. That one small thing of Lord Shiva not standing, uh, that flared up the inferno of Daksha's wrath. And it was a highly inflammable substance. Ego is a highly inflammable substance. A little spark, an unintentional spark, can just blow everything up into flames. So that's the nature of the ego, highly inflammable. So, and because of this huge blast of his wrath, he cursed Lord Shiva. And then the nature of fire is that it doesn't restrict itself to one place, it spreads. So Daksha, out of his anger, he offended Lord Shiva, and then fire spreads. So Nandi, he was hurt by these sharp words. He went on to curse Daksha, that because you are so attached to materialistic life and so arrogant, so in future very soon you will take the face of a goat, because uh, that that we discussed there, that how depending on one's vasanas, one's swabhav, in this life one gets a suitable body in the next life. Hmm. So because Daksha, his vasanas, his desires, and his attitude was suitable for a goat's body. So he got a goat head. So in those times it was probably more evident and possible through curses. But in this age today, people, even though living in a human body, they are behaving like goats and hogs and asses. The way their lifestyle is. So Prabhupada, one person asked, in the West, when Prabhupada was giving a lecture, he was saying uh, that if you don't follow the instructions of God in human life, you'll become a dog. This person said, so what's wrong with it? Actually, I want to become a dog. Prabhupada said, you have my blessings. So this is the situation scenario. So we discuss that the ego is a highly inflammable substance, a small spark, and it flares up. And then nature of fire is it spreads. So the offense of Daksha led to the cursing of cursing by Nandi, and that cursing by Nandi it led to the cursing by Bhrigu. So, and this is why in this verses it says in the next chapter, in this manner the tension between Lord Shiva and Daksha, father-in-law and son-in-law, continued for a very considerably long period of time. Something to think about. Hmm? What do you think? Is there anything to ponder about this? Anything our online friends continued for a very long period of time. It doesn't take any effort to start a forest fire, hmm, but it takes a lot of effort to extinguish it. Hmm. And in this case, there was no effort to extinguish it. Hmm. And the nature of misunderstandings, conflicts, and mutual disagreements is such that unless there is a conscious effort, they will continue to hmm, be a permanent account hmm, with compound interest. Hmm. So life is very short. Hmm. We may realize or not, but life is very short and unpredictable. If we don't take the effort to burn or bury all of these kind of misgivings with people around us, then either these misgivings and conflicts will bury us or burn us, or while living day by day and moment to moment, will keep getting burnt or buried under the pressure of these kind of conflicts and misgivings. Hmm? Isn't it? So this is a very starking example that for yugas and yugas ये चलता ही रहा. इन इनका आपस का मतभेद जो एक इंसिडेंट से ट्रिगर हुआ. ऑफ कोर्स वो इंसिडेंट से पहले भी he didn't have could not digest that how Lord Shiva is having the stature like Lord Brahma. So he could not digest, but at least that incident triggered. So it, so therefore the lesson here is that we need to put efforts to resolve these kind of misgivings or misunderstandings, at least from our side. See, the other person may not may continue to hold grudges, may continue to be inimical. But from our side, we should not carry that, burden. A teacher once gave a sack of, some polythene of potatoes to all the kids in the classroom. And then the teacher said the instruction was कि आपको रोज ये घर लेके जाना है और स्कूल लेके आना है. So the teacher gave this instruction. What was the instruction?
Take the bag home and bring it back.
Yeah, every day they were given a bag of potatoes and they had to take it to their home and bring it every day. So 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. And the children were wondering, अरे किताबों का इतना बोझ है, टिफिन बॉक्स है, वाटर बॉटल है, अभी ये पोटैटोज को हम खा सकते हैं. We simply have to carry this burden. But now what was happening, interestingly, that if you are carrying those potatoes for a couple of weeks, what do you think would happen? Better have button rotten. Yeah, exactly. They started rotting. तो अभी तक तो केवल बर्डन था, अभी फाउल स्मेल भी आ गया. So there's foul, smell, odor, stench. That teacher, how are we expected to carry this? It's a burden, and on top of that, it is stinking. And what the teacher said, this is what adults do for their entire life. They carry a bag of misunderstandings, misgivings, and grudges, which is a burden, and it starts stinking over a period of time. है ना? कि जो ग्रजेस है लोगों के प्रति, वो अंदर इतने नॉट्स क्रिएट कर देता है, सड़ने लग जाता है. And it causes so much trauma and toxicity in our head, and also it comes out in our dealings with them, and it's just waiting for an opportune moment for that to again flare up and blast, right? So these kind of grudges अभी क्या है right now, जो इसमें बताया है कि it's continued for a considerably long period of time. इसको बोलते हैं कोल्ड वॉर. क्या बोलते हैं? कोल्ड वॉर, not world war, cold war. So this cold war of grudges is like a landmine. Landmine क्या होता है? Any incidental step on the wrong place, kaboom, explosion, right? It is just waiting for an explosion to happen. That landmine. पता है ना landmine क्या होता है? हाँ, वो ताकि उधर से मतलब कोई इधर आए, राइट, अनवांटेड पीपल, या फिर कोई वॉर के टाइम में वो लैंडमाइंस बिछा देते हैं ताकि मतलब जमीन के अंदर, ताकि दुश्मन अगर आएगा तो there will be explosion and they will die. So that's how, but these kind of cold wars are like landmines. एंड ये लैंडमाइन में क्या होता है कि कई बार दुश्मन नहीं, अपना आदमी उसके ऊपर चल जाता है, राइट? In this situation, this is what happened. Landmine between Daksha and Shiva, किसका हो गया? सती का एक्सप्लोजन हो गया, implosion हो गया, right? So now let us not leave it as a theoretical note. Let's do a practical exercise, all of you and all of us, including the online ones. You don't have any concession just because you're online. So now let's all think of a person or individuals whom we have been holding grudges with. And such people, the thought of whom causes your stomach to turn, and you are reminded of the incident of insult or harsh words or indecent behavior, right? Which makes you repulsive, feel repulsive. You want to close your eyes and meditate. कृष्णा के ऊपर तो मेडिटेट नहीं होता है, लेकिन ऐसे लोगों के ऊपर आराम से मेडिटेशन होता है. Yes, those of you online, you can write in the chat box if you are able to do so. Think of a person or persons with whom you have some strong repulsion and which is continuing like a cold war. कुछ लोग तो ऐसे होते हैं, जैसे बचपन में मेरा स्कूल में एक ये था क्लासमेट, उसको कुछ तो मेरे से खुन्नस थी बिना बात के, right? He would do something or the other to irritate me, but अभी क्या है, I don't know where he is and हो गया, वो past हो गया. But then there are some live wire explosive landmines. So can you think? Yeah, I've also plenty. ठीक है, not so many, but आ जाता है. Now the question is, ask yourself, how long do you want to stay sick? You're sick of the feeling of, जैसे है ना, कई बार फूड पॉइजनिंग हो जाता है तो एक यू हैव अ फीलिंग ऑफ बीइंग सिक, वॉमिटिंग जैसा सेंसेशन, है ना, चक्कर, यू हैव फीलिंग ऑफ सिकनेस ना. Isn't this also a feeling of sickness? जैसे उसके बारे में व्यक्ति बारे में सोचते हैं तो like you feel sick of him or her, repulsive. So how long do you want to stay sick, Tanay?
None of anyone.
Wow, blessed soul. Hmm. Okay. Any? That's super honest of you. But life is too interesting. It will deliver such people, sooner or later. Anyone wants to share? Online, offline?
Of the incident.
इंसिडेंट नहीं, ऐसा कोई व्यक्ति है तो आपको क्या लगता है कितने समय तक आप ये चीज कैरी करना कर सकते हो?
Don't want to carry it, honestly.
डोंट वांट टू कैरी, बट है ऐसा.
Yeah, it's किसी न किसी तरीके से रह जाता है in the mind.
Okay, don't want to carry it. Do you all agree? We don't want to carry these grudges. Yes, on the chat box. Okay.
These grudges, like when they are more active when we are working with them or your relationship is active with them. When it is not active, then these people don't come in our
Out of sight, out of mind. Now I'm talking of people whom you are, compelled to be around. No? Now you can't throw them out of your life. You have to work with them or be around them, and then they keep irritating you. So yeah, so basically वो हम चाहते नहीं, लेकिन वो रिमाइंडर होता रहता है. Yeah, so now let's all do one thing, very powerful exercise, which which is basically coming from the space that how Krishna is the eternal well-wisher of everyone. However inimical a person is to Krishna, however obnoxious a person's mind and desires are, Krishna never leaves the side of that individual. Krishna, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, the most क्या बोलते हैं, heinous of criminals, the most toxic of people. Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am residing in everyone's heart, giving them knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And Krishna is also mm, yantra rudhani maya. Krishna is also providing this body to everyone. So now just understanding this nature of Krishna. And if you want to be devotees of Krishna, you also need to develop this nature of letting go and being a well wisher. जो भी है जैसा भी है व्यक्ति, ठीक है, a devotee is ajata shatru. Who is ajata shatru in Mahabharata? Yudhishthir Maharaj. Another name of Yudhishthir Maharaj is ajata shatru. Now you have 11 akshohini senas, 11 akshohini sena, which means crores of soldiers standing in front of Yudhishthir Maharaj and who are waiting to fight and rip off the Pandavas. And still is he called Ajata Shatru? जिसका कोई शत्रु नहीं, अरे सामने खड़े हैं करोड़ शत्रु, but Shatru, Yudhishthir Maharaj doesn't consider anyone as a Shatru. That's the nature of a devotee. Because a devotee is, developing the qualities of Krishna to a minute extent, right? So, so from our heart, we can't be like Krishna to be with each other. We don't want to be with these kind of people. We want to keep a distance. भगवान तो छोड़ते नहीं है बाजू में, मतलब he is the closest to even the most sinful and the most wretched and rascal people. भगवान तो उनके साथ में ही रहते हैं परमात्मा के रूप में. हमें परमात्मा के रूप में क्या दूर दूर तक नहीं रहना है ऐसे लोगों से. We want to neglect because that will agitate us. Given a chance, we want to stay away. Parantu, from a distance, can't we offer a prayer for that person's, spiritual well-being? So let us offer a small prayer of good wishes for the people who have caused great trauma, torture to us, and not accepting the abuse. We don't want to accept the abuse. हम किसी से abuse या exploitation के लिए नहीं बैठे हैं. We want to stay away from such people, but from distance, this power, why we are praying, because it is a medium to resolve all of those knots of grudges which are like those rotten potatoes. कि हमारे थैले में सड़े हुए पोटैटो नहीं चाहिए, हमको फूल चाहिए. ठीक है? So let's do this. In your heart, first of all, experience the presence of Krishna. Despite all our shortcomings and different types of dirtiness in the heart, Krishna has accepted to be our closest friend and guide. So feel the love of Krishna in your heart. That how Krishna is the most suhrit, most loving friend. And experiencing that love of Krishna, feel the warmth of Krishna's eternal love for you. And that love may be visualized as a beam of warmth, a beam of love, protection, warmth, direct a partial portion of that beam of love to the people who have actually caused difficulty or trauma or torture unto you. So direct. We should not be kripanas. We should not be miserly. देखो कृष्णा के पास अनलिमिटेड कंपैशन है. हम अपना कंपैशन अपने जेब से नहीं निकाल रहे. We are just directing Krishna's love and compassion, which is meant for everyone. हमारी जेब से कुछ नहीं जा रहा. So just let us offer Krishna's love and compassion to everyone. What is the problem? And when we do that, there's a miracle, there's a magic that we feel lighter. We feel, flushed off a lot of toxicity and negativity. That, oh Krishna, you take care. You resolve this situation. Many times we overestimate the power of our endeavors. इसको बदल के रहूंगा, उसको बदल के रहूंगा. और हम अपनी पावर को ओवर एस्टिमेट करते हैं, लेकिन भगवान की पावर को अंडर एस्टिमेट करते हैं. वी नेवर डिपेंड ऑन प्रेयर्स. प्रार्थना में क्या शक्ति है, वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. बड़ी से बड़ी चीजें जो इम्पॉसिबल से इम्पॉसिबल सिचुएशन है, वो प्रार्थना से रिजॉल्व हो जाती हैं. करुणा कर द्रौपदी पुकारे, पट में लिपट गए वनवारी. नाचत विपिन विहारी राधे, श्याम श्यामा श्याम. तो करुणा कर द्रौपदी पुकारी. अग्रे कुरुणामथ पांडवानां, दुःशासनेन ऋतवस्त्रकेशा. कृष्णा तदाक्रोशदनन्यनाथा, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति. So when Draupadi is being disrobed by the rascal Dushasana, then she tries every thing in her influence. She goes and approaches Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, Dhritarashtra, her husbands Pandava. But she finds no one, everyone is helpless. No one has any power to save her from that situation. It is only Vidura who actually wants to do something and is actually putting efforts, but he's also helpless. And then she tries to restrain the this Dushasan with her own hands, holding on to the sari. But this rascal who has strength of 100 elephants, he's pulling on her sari, and it's very soon she will be disrobed and bereft of all her respect and in front of the entire assembly. Can you imagine? This is the kind of traumatic situation she is in, and for a woman who is a princess, who is a queen, to go through it is very, very, very traumatic. It's unimaginable. But at that time, when no other power is coming to her rescue, she realizes, I am helpless. Everyone else around is helpless. My husbands are not my protectors. These great gurus are not my protectors. Only Krishna is my protectors. And then she, till now she is trying to restrain through her hand. She gives up. Krishna, Tadakrosha, Ananyanatha, Hey Ananyanath, Hey Krishna, Hey Palanhar, Hey Taranhar, आप ही मेरी रक्षा करो. And when she that switch of shelter. So far she was taking shelter in the world around, in her own powers, but then she switched her shelter from the external world to the inner world. And then the miracle happened. The power of Krishna was waiting to help her. The power of Krishna was waiting to change all the reversals and calamities in her life. It was just a switch away. So the Krishna switch is there for all of us also. So let us not underestimate the power of prayers. Any situation is not a good situation or a bad situation. A situation is a good situation if it helps us turn towards Krishna. A situation is a bad situation if we turn away from Krishna. Hmm? So that is from Krishna's, भगवान के दृष्टिकोण से हम बुरे से बुरे वक्त से गुजर रहे होंगे, लेकिन क्योंकि वो बुरा वक्त के समय हम भगवान को पुकार रहे हैं, भगवान की तरफ अपना रुझान कर लेते हैं, भगवान देखता रहे ये तो इसके लाखों करोड़ों जन्म में सबसे अच्छा योग बना है। हम्म हम ज्योतिषियों को दिखा दिखा के परेशान है कि ये क्या हो गया, ये परेशानी वो परेशानी, सब सब गलत हो रहा है। ये काल सर्प, ये वो, ये शनि देव का प्रकोप, क्या क्या चल रहा है। भगवान हंस रहे, यार क्या योग बना है तेरे जीवन में। तू समझ गया है कि सारे के सारे जो जिन चीजों पे तू आश्रय लगा के बैठा था, आस्था लगा के, आशा लगा के बैठा था, वो सब यूजलेस है। नाउ योर टर्न टू मी। सो इसके लिए पावर ऑफ प्रेयर्स को कभी अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारे जीवन में ऐसी परिस्थितियां होंगी, हमारे जीवन में ऐसे लोग होंगे जिनके कारण हम बहुत ही दुविधा में हैं, दुखी हैं, त्रस्त हैं। पर उस परिस्थिति को हम बदल नहीं सकते, लेकिन हम अपनी चेतना को बदल सकते हैं। तो लेट्स यूटिलाइज दिस स्विच which Krishna has given to all of us. Make sense? Thank you. तो अभी हम अगला श्लोक का संख्या लेंगे, verse number 2. So I want you to read 4.3.2. ओके, बोलो ना आवाज। सेकंड वर्स, अरे देखो माइक का जरूरत ही नहीं। सेकंड वर्स का ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ो।
When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha, the chief of all Prajapatis, with progenitors of population, Daksha became very much puffed up.
तो यहाँ क्या हो गया है? दक्ष महाराज को ब्रह्मा जी ने, देखो इतना सब उसने शिव जी को अपराध किया, लेकिन उसमें क्या हो गया, उसकी पदोन्नति हो गई, उसको प्रमोशन मिल गया। He has been appointed a chief of progenitors, प्रजापति इसका प्रमुख बना दिया गया। तो इसके लिए जैसा पिछले श्लोक में, पिछले भी इसमें हमने चर्चा की कि बुरी परिस्थिति नहीं है अगर हम उसमें भगवान की तरफ अपने आप को रुझान करें, और अच्छी परिस्थिति नहीं है कि अगर उसमें हम भगवान से विमुख हो जाएं। तो ये ऐसा देखा जाए तो ये दक्ष के लिए बहुत अच्छी परिस्थिति है कि उसको प्रमोशन दे दिया गया है, लेकिन वो क्या हो गया है, प्राउड हो गया है। बताया इसमें श्लोक में बताया। सो लाइफ कैन बी वेरी डिसेप्टिव एट टाइम्स। We may be getting material prosperity and promotion, but at the same time we may be when we may feel I'm at the top of the world, I'm on cloud 9, but we might be actually getting spiritually bankrupt and laid off. हमारा स्पिरिचुअल ले ऑफ चालू होगा। दक्षा को इधर प्रमोशन मिल रहा है मटेरियली, बट स्पिरिचुअली वो बैंकरप्ट हो रहा है, उसको ले ऑफ हो रहा है, ही इज बीइंग फायर्ड। So therefore, we should not judge our progress by the material and social uh, power and position that we have. कई बार इसमें त्वाम अकिंचन गोचरा, जन्म ऐश्वर्य श्रुत श्रीभि एधमान अधपुरवान नैवारति अभिधातुम वही त्वाम अकिंचन गोचरा। कुंती देवी कहती हैं कि अच्छे कुल में जन्म, बहुत नामी ग्रामी खानदान में जन्म, ऐश्वर्य बहुत धन, श्रुता बहुत ज्ञान, श्री भी बहुत सौंदर्य, ये सब चीजें व्यक्ति को आध्यात्मिक रूप से डुबा सकती है, क्योंकि वो सर में घुस जाती है। राइट, चलिए तो श्लोक संख्या 3 से 7 पढ़ेंगे हमारे। Just translation पढ़ना है.
Daksha began a sacrifice named Vajapaya,
Vajpayee.
and he became excessively confident of his support by Lord Brahma. He then performed another great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sabha.
Hmm.
While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahma rishis, great sages, ancestral demigods, and other demigods, their wives, all very nicely decorated with ornaments, attended from different parts of the universe. The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, heard the heavenly denizens flying in the sky conversing about the great sacrifice being performed by her father. When she saw from when she saw that from all directions, the beautiful voice of the heavenly denizens, their eyes very beautifully glittering, were near her residence, and were going to the sacrifice dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklace with lockets. She approached her husband, the master of the Bhutas, in great anxiety, and spoke as follows.
Yeah. So can you give proof? Very, very interesting section. This is one of a very you know thought invoking section of the Bhagavatam, which is great for understanding human psychology. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि दक्ष महाराज को प्रमुख प्रजापति बना दिया गया है, and then he is performing a यज्ञ called वाजपेयी, then he performed a यज्ञ called बृहस्पति सभा. बहुत बड़ा यज्ञ है, और बड़े यज्ञ में बड़े बड़े ब्रह्म ऋषि, राज ऋषि, देवता, सब लोग अटेंड करने आ रहे हैं. देवता, उनके पत्नियां, सब इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, सब इन्फ्लुएंसर्स आ रहे हैं इसमें. And everyone is pulling up in their Lamborghinis and Audis and
Yes, Cybertruck.
Cybertruck की क्या तो?
Tesla.
Oh, Teslas, etc. Right? So everyone is pulling up, and then looking at all of this, where does Sati stay? Kailash with Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva doesn't have any place of residence also. Right? What to speak of having a Lamborghini, Viman, right? He is having Nandi Bull as his carrier. So, but he is seeing that all of these devatas, there's such festive mood. Everyone is flying, decked up with क्या बोलते हैं, 3-piece suit या क्या, सब suit में. The fashion changes, but the inclination of human being to show off doesn't change. Show off का style बदल जाता है. पहले बेल बॉटम चलता था, फिर टाइट जीन्स चलता था, फिर ये चलता था, फिर फटी जीन्स चलता. So basically fashion change होता रहेगा, लेकिन behind that is the basic desire of the human to be at the center of the attention, limelight. कैसे ना करके लोग देखें कि क्या पहना है, क्या wrist watch पहनी है, या फिर क्या necklaces पहना है, all of those things. So she is seeing that there is such excitement in the air and glittering ornaments के साथ में सब जा रही है. So what happens seeing all of this to Sati? Great anxiety. क्या चल रहा होगा, सबके सब एहसास, मतलब everyone is going, practically all the who's who are going. सारे के सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स जा रहे हैं, सेलिब्रिटीज जा रहे हैं, पेज 3 पर्सनालिटीज जा रहे हैं, एंड एवरीवन इज डेक्ड अप. सब, हमारा इनविटेशन ही नहीं है. एंजाइटी में वहां क्या हो रहा होगा, जिसको आज की भाषा में क्या बोलते हैं, क्या बात है, फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट. एंड दिस इज हैपनिंग टू सती. व्हाट टू स्पीक ऑफ अस, फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट. So and आज की तारीख में तो FOMO is sparked by social media. जबकि एक्चुअल में कुछ नहीं हो, उसको ऐसा पोस्ट किया जाता है कि लोगों को लगता है यार यहीं पे मजे हैं दुनिया के सारे. So another thing here is to look at is that even spiritual functions and spiritual enterprises can become fertile grounds for social, show off. ये सब जा रहे हैं. व्हाट इज द प्रीमाइस, मेन रीजन क्या है? यज्ञ करने जा रहे हैं सारे ब्रह्मांड के वेलफेयर के लिए, सारे जीवात्माओं के वेलफेयर के लिए, भगवान को प्रसन्न करने के लिए सबसे पहले हम यज्ञ करने जा रहे हैं. लेकिन दैट इज द एक्सक्यूज. पीछे क्या चल रहा है लोगों के दिमाग में? मैं मेरा लैम्बोर्गिनी, मतलब मेरे कितने पापाराजीज आएंगे. हम्म मैं, है ना, कितने लोग, है ना, आजकल तो सब कोई सेलिब्रिटीज आते हैं तो काट 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 काट, फोटो फोटो. अरे क्या, रणबीर साहब ये एंगल से, ये एंगल से, इधर 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 देखो, इधर देखो. तो सबको बेसिकली जा रहे हैं यज्ञ के लिए, लेकिन बैक ऑफ द माइंड ये. सो वी शुड बी अवेयर that we are coming to a spiritual organization, but our consciousness or our motivation, it might be just, you know, degrading to name and fame, right? So okay, now talking about the FOMO culture, which will become even more evident in our, when Sati starts speaking. तो सती बोलना चालू करती है, तो मैं आपको सती जो कहती है लॉर्ड शिवा से, भगवान शिव से, वो मैं बताता हूँ. उसके बाद में हम फोमो के ऊपर चर्चा करेंगे. ठीक है? क्योंकि उससे और आपको अंदर क्या फोमो क्रिएट करता है वो पता लगेगा, कैसा आपको एक्टिवेट करता है कि somehow or the other you want to be there. So what does she say? She starts giving various reasons. Lord Shiva, हमको उधर होना चाहिए, we are missing out. So she says, first of all, do you know, let me read. My dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing great sacrifices, and all the demigods, having been invited by him, are going there. If you desire, we may also go. आपकी इच्छा है तो हम भी चलें. तो she didn't begin with I want to go. She didn't take ownership ki it is me. She didn't begin with that. She said सब जा रहे हैं. कहाँ जा रहे हैं? आपके ससुर जी के यज्ञ में, राइट? सो आपके ससुर जी का यज्ञ है. एंड देन यू मे आस्क कि सबको इनवाइट किया है, सब देवताओं को, हमको तो इनवाइट किया नहीं है. फिर ये लो कर लो बात. अपने संबंधियों के और मित्रों के घर पे कभी बुलाने का, इनविटेशन का जरूरत पड़ता है? फिर क्या अपनापन? वी डोंट नीड एन इनविटेशन. मेरे पिताजी का घर है, हम पहुंच जाएंगे. सो दिस इज हाउ, when you are mentally somewhere, your mind starts running so fast that you kind of run through all the scenarios कि क्या क्या opposition आ सकते हैं. When she says to Lord Shiva, हम लोग चलते हैं, Lord Shiva will say, हमको कहाँ है, कार्ड तो आया नहीं, इनविटेशन कार्ड आया, व्हाट्सएप आया, ईमेल आया, कोई कार्ड तो आया नहीं, पोस्टमैन आया नहीं. शी सेज अरे घर वालों के इनविटेशन की थोड़ी जरूरत पड़ती है. So when you are mentally already somewhere, you will exhaust all your intelligence to somehow convince yourself and others to allow you to be there. So she says, your father-in-law sacrifice, even if uninvited, we can go. Then she says, देखो, मैं, मतलब मुझे कोई ऐसा पड़ी नहीं है, मेरे को पता है आपके बीच में क्या चल रहा था दोनों के में, कितना मनमुटाव है. पर देखो ना, अभी everyone is going, all the devatas are going, and all the devatas and their wives are going, decked up, and the entire sky is lined up with these aircrafts in the sky. And अभी देवतास को छोड़ो, मेरी सारी बहनें जा रही हैं. Now, as a husband, isn't it your responsibility मेरी सारी बहनों को उनके पति लेके जा रहे हैं और तुम यहाँ पे बैठे हो ध्यान लगा के हमेशा की तरह। एटलीस्ट कभी तो थोड़ा ध्यान दो। राइट, सो शी इज यूजिंग ऑल द tools that she has. Then she says, then Lord Shiva में अरे वहां जाके करोगी क्या? क्या करना है तुमको, या क्या करना है? No, I'll go and meet. It's an opportunity to meet my mother, my aunts, मौसियों से मिलूंगी, बुआओं से मिलूंगी, अपनी बहनों से मिलूंगी, और सारे संबंधियों से मिलूंगी। और क्या? और अरे बेसिकली तो वो यज्ञ के लिए जा रहे हैं ना, सो आई विल सी हाउ द ग्रेट महर्षिज एंड ब्रह्म ऋषिज आर परफॉर्मिंग दैट यज्ञ। अल्टीमेटली इट्स अ स्पिरिचुअल इवेंट, सो so it is uh, Amrendra Prabhu's class tomorrow in the temple, so we have to go. But प्रभु जी के साथ सेल्फी निकालने के लिए है ना? तो it is, so she's saying I will go, I want to go because all the yagya is happening and sages are conducting. And she says, please don't expect artificial renunciation from me. You may be having vairagya, but I cannot have shamshan vairagya. I am a simple woman, and to have affection for my family members is but natural. For me to go and meet my family members, you can be detached, you can be hmm, completely avdhut, but I am not like that. And as a daughter, to not feel disturbed when all of my sisters are going to my father's place and not feel disturbed, it is unnatural. So I must feel disturbed and I must want to go. And secondly, आपने, you have accepted me as half your body, Ardhanarishwar. So half of the body wants to go, other half is stopping. ऐसा होता है? आधा शरीर इधर जा रहा है, आधा शरीर उधर जा रहा है, होता है? नहीं होता, एक पैर आगे जाता है, दूसरा पैर भी आगे जाता है, right? So then she is saying that, and one more thing, you are, अपने अपने आप को पूरा पोस्ट करके डाल दिया, इंस्टा वगैरह सब जगह वायरल हो गया है, आप नीलकंठ हैं, आप बड़ी पूरे संसार के क्या बोलते हैं, डिलीवरेंस के लिए आपने अपने कंठ में विष को ग्रहण कर लिया, टू सेव ऑल लिविंग एंटिटीज। इतनी करुणा, इतनी कंपैशन, इतना कंपैशन सारी दुनिया के लिए, मुझे छोड़ के। You feel for the pain of the entire universe except your wife? Is it your compassion? बताऊं क्या मैं? So then basically she has done everything in her kind of influence to influence Lord Shiva by all of these means. But trigger कहाँ से हो रहा है? Fear of missing out. Everyone is going. Now she is discounting and not paying attention to the fact that हुआ क्या था पहले। पिछली बार गए थे जब शिव जी, क्या हुआ था? कितना बड़ा कांड हो गया था, कितना दक्ष ने श्राप दिए। But when the mind is too obsessed by a certain desire, ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगतेषु उपजायते संग संजायते कामा कामा क्रोधा विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहा। तो काम और क्रोध का नेचर क्या है? वो सम्मोहित कर देते हैं आपकी जो विवेक शक्ति को, बंद कर देते हैं, क्षीण कर देते हैं। तो आप विवेक नहीं कर पाते कि, आप प्रोसेस नहीं कर पाते कि इसका परिणाम क्या होने वाला है। जब इतनी तीव्र इच्छाएं होती है, वासनाएं होती हैं, कामनाएं होती हैं, तो द ब्रेन इज switched off and you are unable to process. You just want somehow or the other that desire to get fulfilled and turning a blind eye to the consequences, which are very evident. So that happens to Sati. She has completely neglected what happened in the past, but she just feels that somehow हम जाएंगे, कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ भी नहीं होगा, सब वहां पे हमको आदर सम्मान मिल जाएगा, अभी सब ठीक हो जाएगा। But Lord Shiva knows. We'll see what his response is in the next class. But see these personalities, Krishna has to give us an example so that we don't make mistakes. So he uses his pure devotees or mixed devotees to enact certain dramas so that we learn the lessons. So a fear of missing out culture, the feeling that all the fun and excitement is in the lives of those people who are rich, famous, powerful, influential. Hmm? Sara maza. There is like the fear of missing out comes from a space where uh, there is a center in where all of this excitement and fun is. The party is going on. Or if I have to have fun and meaning in my life, I also have to go into that center. जो जो लोग those people who are famous, rich, etc. अगर मैं इन लोगों के साथ में खड़ा हूँ, इन लोगों के बिरादरी में घूमूं, तभी मेरे जीवन का कोई मकसद है, मजा है, नहीं तो आई एम void, useless. तो इट कम्स फ्रॉम सच a स्पेस. तो अभी मैं आपको एक केस स्टडी देता हूँ. ओके, लास्ट कुछ मिनट है. सो एवरीवन रेडी फॉर अ केस स्टडी? अभी आपको सोचना है. You have to get, I have got couple of case studies. So now you all have to advise what these individuals should do where they are in a situation of FOMO. Okay, first of all, see one, a child uh, after the vacations, he joins the school again, and then his friends, they show him the pictures of their trip to Switzerland, to Mauritius, to Los Angeles. एंड सब बता रहे, मैं इधर गया था, उधर गया था, हमारा तो इधर वेकेशन क्या मजा है, इंडिया तो बस कुछ नहीं है, ये उधर वो उधर, वहां पे ये टावर, स्टैच्यू ऑफ लिबर्टी के ऊपर मैंने ये किया, वो किया. तो ये सब सुन रहा है. ही कम्स होम एंड ही स्टार्ट्स डूइंग टैंट्रम्स. मुझे कहीं नहीं लेके गए आप लोग, क्या किया आपने, माता पिता होकर पैदा क्यों किया मुझे. ऐसा ही मुझे कुछ आपने दिया नहीं, तो अगला वेकेशन में हम लोग भी फॉरेन जाएंगे. सुना है आपने ऐसा कभी? आजकल बहुत कॉमन हो गया. तो बच्चे जाके क्या क्या जिद करते हैं कि मुझे विदेश यात्रा पे जाना है. सो another situation is where the children is actually, this is a true story. जो बच्चे 10th में आने के बाद में बोलते हैं कि इंडिया बेकार है, फालतू का कंपटीशन एग्जाम है, इतना रिजर्वेशन है, कुछ लगने वाला नहीं है इधर, और वैसे भी दिस नॉट मच प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स, एजुकेशन सिस्टम अच्छा नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, हमको विदेश जाना है, विदेश में पढ़ाई करनी है. सो द फादर हैज अ सेट जॉब इन इंडिया, ही लीव्स हिज जॉब, goes to Canada and starts looking for a job. And the father doesn't get a job, mother gets a job as a steward in a mall. Stewardess in a mall, मतलब वो वहाँ पे खड़ी रहती है, दिखाती है प्रोडक्ट्स. और उसकी मदर को आर्थराइटिस है, लेकिन उसको पूरा दिन खड़ा रहना पड़ता है. लेकिन बच्चों को, मेरे फ्रेंड्स यूएस गए, मेरे फ्रेंड कनाडा गए पढ़ाई के लिए, इंडिया में कुछ नहीं. सो सोचो, फादर अपना अच्छा खासा बढ़िया जॉब लाखों कमा रहे हैं, वो छोड़ के विदेश जा रहे हैं. एंड दीज किड्स नाउ दे हैव टू सेट अप अ होम. और कनाडा में वो सोफा फर्नीचर वगैरह उनको चाहिए. तो वहाँ पे क्या होता है, किसी को फर्नीचर नहीं चाहिए तो वो जो मतलब एक जगह रहता है जहाँ पे स्क्रैप का या ऐसा, वहां पे जाके डाल देते हैं, जिसको उठाना है उठा के लेके जाओ. तो ये बच्चे वहां पे जाते हैं, उनको अच्छा सोफा दिख जाता है, जाके उस पे बैठ के सेल्फी निकाल के अपनी दादी को सबको बोलते हैं हमें इतना अच्छा सोफा मिल गया। अरे भीख मांग के मिला तुमको सोफा, इसमें तुम्हें गर्व हो रहा है? यहाँ पे अच्छा खासा बना बनाया घर है, ये सब है, वहां जाके भीख के सोफे के ऊपर बैठ के जो किसी ने स्क्रैप किया है तुमको ऐसा लग रहा है बड़ा पहाड़ चढ़ गया। दिस इज कॉल्ड फियर ऑफ missing out, which forces them to force their parents to leave a settled life here and go there and become beggars. This is real life history. Yeah. So what would you advise to such children or such ये बड़े बच्चे हैं, मतलब 16-17 साल के हैं, ऐसा नहीं दिमाग नहीं है, but so how are you going to um, counsel such kids as elder brothers and sisters?
They should know the difference between right and wrong, first of all. Right choices and wrong choices, what are going to be the pros and cons. Let them only think, uh, if they go there and if they are going to study there, what can be the situation, what can be the positive and negative things out there. I think even in this process only they will be able to make out that going there might not be a good option and they might realize that all what they are doing is the cause of their fear of missing out. Let them think why they are doing this, why they are.
पर वो तो बंद ही करवा दिया ना, सोचने का फैक्ट्री तो बंद करा दिया। जो सोशल मीडिया ने बोला तुम मत सोचो, हम है ना, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है तो आप क्यों इतना नेचुरल इंटेलिजेंस खर्च कर रहे हो, हम दिखाएंगे आपको क्या है लाइफ। यू नो, सो यू डोंट नीड टू थिंक एंड पीपल रियली डोंट थिंक। दैट्स व्हाट एक वीडियो देख था, भेजा किसी ने, उसमें क्या है लिखा था, टिकटॉक, टिकटॉक करके गेट था, बड़ा ही जैजी है, और उसके बाहर एक डस्टबिन था। तो लोग जा रहे हैं उस टिकटॉक के गेट के अंदर, अब ब्रेन को निकाल के डस्टबिन में डाल के अंदर जा रहे हैं, ब्रेन निकाल के डस्टबिन, ऐसा। तो सच पीपल डोंट इवन थिंक।
Parents might not give very importance to sex
Yeah,
points and make them aware of what they should expect from you.
yeah, so this is something, and they should draw boundaries कि मतलब आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो एज अ चाइल्ड। यू कांट आस्क फॉर द सन एंड द मून।
Because like the boys are not thinking that is.
पेरेंट्स शुड थिंक, राइट? दे शुड नॉट जस्ट आउट ऑफ कि नहीं बच्चे को अच्छा लग रहा है, तो एटलीस्ट दे शुड बी।
My dad always says that they should not become Dhritarashtra's.
अच्छा, कैसे?
Like about relatives or they should not become blagging because for their sons and daughters.
हाँ, नहीं तो दुर्योधन हो जाते हैं घर में। मोह में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, मोह व्यक्ति को कमजोर करता है। Asha, Ved Priya has given a very nice input. She's saying, try putting yourself in the shoes of their parents and write pros and cons list of their desire. If the sole reason is just FOMO, it won't be worth it. Yes. तो या अपन एक कॉम्बिनेशन कर सकते हैं उन्हीं बच्चों को जो सोचो, put yourself in the shoes of your parents.
We can make them talk to people who are doing good here in India. They will make, what we say, an antidote of FOMO will be created. Which will be
Very nice. Very nice. Show them value in-house. कि what is the merit of now, आपने ये part of the story देखा है, ये भी देखो, right? तो ये बहुत अच्छा point है कि when they just see one part of the story being advertised, so इसको एक तो है FOMO, fear of missing out, दूसरा है जोसो, joy of standing out। ये हमारे मुकुंद मालापुर है ना, उन्होंने कॉइन किया। Why just fear of missing out? We should have joy of standing out कि हाँ, we are Hare Krishnas, हम लोग लहसुन कांदा चाय कॉफी सिगरेट दारू नहीं, वी स्टैंड आउट फॉर आवर प्योरिटी. So what if we keep on, basically attack is the best defense, right? We should train ourselves and the young generation in attack, not defense. तुम डिफेंड करने जाओगे, ऑफिस में जाओगे, बोलोगे कि नहीं सर, सर मैं ना दारू नहीं पीता. अबे बच्चा है क्या, कॉलेज में तेरा रैगिंग नहीं हो गया, चल ऑफिस में करते हैं. तो इफ यू आर गोइंग इन द डिफेंस मोड देन द वर्ल्ड विल अटैक. यू हैव टू गो इन द अटैक मोड. सर आओ ना यार, आप क्या पार्टी कर रहे हो, चलो आपको पार्टी में दिखाता हूँ. You have to have guts. If you don't, if you are not assertive, the world will make you a doormat. So we need to train the kids, we need to train ourselves to be assertive and have confidence in our values and our ethics, right? तो जितना आप कॉन्फिडेंट रहोगे, आप कन्विंस रहोगे, उतना आपको फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट सताएगा नहीं, आप दूसरों को फोमो देंगे. So the best way to avoid FOMO is to give it to others. Huh? So give it to others. And another thing is minimize social media usage. कई बार हम सोशल मीडिया रहे, ये किया, वो पोस्ट कर दिया, वो पोस्ट कर दिया. इंस्टेड यूज अ पर्सनल जर्नल. जैसे प्रभुपाद यूज करते थे, ही वुड राइट दैट 2nd September 1965 I am now in Kolkata planning for, मतलब preparing for. So this we can make a journal for ourselves. It will keep a track, but it is just between you and Krishna. You don't need the world to know. मैं भी ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ. भाई तू हमेशा, you are always conscious of the absent. जो नहीं है उनकी चिंता कर रहा है, जो है तुम्हारे सामने उनको याद ही नहीं करता. So yeah, Guru Bhakti is also mentioning. Also, logically try to understand if people are truly happy there, because there's so much of crime there. Actually, Canada में drugs को legalize कर दिया है. Now you will find वहाँ पे जो pharmacy stores पे भी drugs मिलता है आपको. ये सब LSD, ये सब जो चीजें drugs होते हैं वो मिलता है. क्यों? कि उन्होंने जनरल लॉ क्या है, ड्रग्स किसी के पोजीशन में मिला उसको जेल में डाल देता है. अभी यार इतने सबके पास ही है, किस किसको जेल में डालें. जेल मतलब हॉस्पिटल स्कूल से ज्यादा जेल बनानी पड़ेगी. सो देन दिस हैड लीगलाइज ड्रग्स. ड्रग लेके लोग क्या करेंगे, क्राइम करेंगे, राइट? सो या सो बेसिकली one is being making everyone aware and minimize social media usage and instead use personal journal. And then another thing is being assertive, and attack is the best defense. Joy of standing out rather than fear of missing out. Hmm? And one last thing is discover who you are and focus on what you have with gratitude rather than comparing with others. You will be happy doing what you are meant to do. Hmm? You can't be happy doing what others are doing, right? So हाँ, एंड जनरली ऐसा लगता है, जैसे मैं बोल रहा था कि ये लोग जिनके पास पैसा है, शोहरत है, मिलियन फॉलोअर हैं, यही लोग खुश हैं, और somehow other I also, if I go in that circle I'll be happy. This actually is a very false and premise. क्योंकि the joy and meaning in life is in the simple and small things which anyone can do. Just eating food with gratitude, it's the greatest joy which even the richest people don't have, because they have so much anxiety to maintain their health. Just gratefully, prayerfully eating food. Why miss out on that which is available to you? Hmm? You know, then other simple things like going and looking at nature, the flowers, the trees, the gifts and the miracles of nature. Hmm? Why miss out on that? Hmm? Rather than thinking of missing, I'm missing out on the parties, I'm missing out on going abroad. Why you are missing out on the real things of life? The real things are the simple things, not the complex, sophisticated things where you have to buy a ticket of 50,000 rupees for Ed Sheeran's concert. हम्म पता है सबको? हाँ, एड शीरीन क्या आई एम मिसिंग आउट एड शीरीन ना एड और आईपीएल मैच so so these simple things of just talking to your grandmother. कौन बात करता है बूढ़ी नानी दादी से? हाँ? लोग सोचते हैं इनसे क्या बात करें, हम तो हैपनिंग लोगों से बात करेंगे, right? But talk to your grandmother. She has so much to tell you, so much wisdom to offer. Why are you missing out on that? So the real great things in life are the simple things, which the world is missing out. So capitalize and cash on those things. Hmm? To have meaningful friendships, your friends need not be those who are jazzy and stylish and who have a Lamborghini or a nice bike. Just the simple people who are your well wishers. अपने माता पिता से बात करने में. Who talks to their parents these days? To have a meaningful conversation, to serve, to come and take darshan of the deities. So why do we miss out on those things? If you actually capitalize on these things, you will never miss out anything in life. You will always feel satisfied, happy, and content. And rather make the world feel missing out. तो दूसरों को फोमो दो, खुद मत लो. Make sense? Okay, any comments, reflections? Okay, so we'll close here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll continue next week. And the exciting parts are also now coming, more exciting parts, where Lord Shiva is responding to Sati's request, and her, she's really trying to shake him up. पूरी दुनिया के लिए तुम नीलकंठ हो मुझे छोड़ के. So how does he respond? We'll see that, and a lot to learn in Bhagavatam. So now we'll close, but just one last question by Ved Priya. She always brings very thoughtful questions. How do introverts stay on attack mode? Actually, introverts are the one who can be the best in attack mode. Because introverts are, in ISKCON, you have to be an introvert and extrovert both, ambivert. मैं भक्ति में आने से पहले सुपर इंट्रोवर्ट था. भक्ति के आने के बाद एकदम एक्सट्रोवर्ट हो गया. मुझे लगा ये क्या हो रहा है, डिसोरिएंटेड. मुझे मतलब जस्ट विद इन अ फ्यू वीक्स फ्रॉम बीइंग हाईली इंट्रोवर्ट आई बिकेम हाईली एक्सट्रोवर्ट. तिलक लगा के आई स्टार्टेड गोइंग टू क्लास. मतलब हमारे किसी ने अटेम्प्ट ही नहीं किया है सर. देन आई काइंड ऑफ नहीं I have to balance. So we have to but introvert is someone who is in touch with his inner strengths and weaknesses. So if you are in dialogue with yourself, what are your needs, what are your strengths, so then you are convinced about yourself and what you are doing, your value system. And when you are convinced about your value system, then you can present it to others. जो चीज आपको समझ ही नहीं आई आप किसी को सिखा सकते हो? नहीं, राइट? अगर आप केस के बारे में कन्विंस नहीं हो, आप जाके जज को बताओगे? You won't be able to. You first have to convince yourself that मेरे client का केस एकदम strong है. Then you can strongly present. So similarly, first you have to be convinced. This is the way. Then convincing the world is just a byproduct. So first we have to convince ourselves that what I am getting is the best. Not because I am the best, because Krishna's mercy is the best. फिर आप जब convince हो गए, फिर आपका confidence will speak for itself. Yes, Vedpriya, best wishes for your introvert attacks. To make others feel FOMO, missing out on bhakti, missing out on the simple, beautiful things of life. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.